All right, today's lesson, we're going to finish up the seamless level change between our two levels here by adding in a couple brushes. Very simple, we've done this before. Just a few key changes to it as far as adding a new brush that should prevent any props from transferring between the levels with you if you've had that problem. And it's weird, sometimes objects come through and sometimes they don't. And so this new brush that we're going to use today, or trigger I guess, should prevent that. So let's take a look at the setup real quick. So yesterday you were supposed to have put together this info landmark in your stairwell, and the info landmark should have a name. Mine is called level 1 underscore level 2, and then in the other map it's the exact same name. So if we open up my secondary map, my level 2, and we go find the level, which is over here, look at the landmark. There's the landmark. So this is level 2, and you'll notice it's called level 1 underscore level 2. So same exact name. All right, let's go back to level 1. All right, so when you're doing these level changes, it's important to kind of consider the direction of travel for the player, because if we teleport the player into a location where they're touching the level change on the other level, you get caught in this infinite loop where you're bouncing back and forth. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you pick a spot where when they teleport, they're not landing in the teleporter or the level changer in the other level. So if I put these two maps up side by side, see if I can get them both on the screen here so you can see them together. Kind of get them in exactly close to the same spot. All right, so this is level 1. The player's going to come down these stairs, they're going to turn the corner, and they're going to go this way, and they're going to hit this trigger, which is our change level. So that's going to land them right here, which is well clear of this. So now once they go here, they get moved over to this level. Now if they change their mind and they decide to go back, they'll go back this way. They'll hit the trigger change level here, which drops them here into the new map, and again, well clear of this. So they change their mind, they can go back. So the trick here is that I always make the change level behind the player's direction of travel. So my player's going down the stairs, so when they get into this level, they're going to keep going forward down these stairs. They have to turn around and go the opposite direction to hit this, and then once they go here, they can continue up the stairs. So they would have to actually turn around and go the opposite way, because we don't want them to get into the new level, take a couple steps, and accidentally hit the change level to send them back where they came from. Okay? So I always make my change level behind the player when they get into the new level. So when I change from here, I'm going to land here. I have to turn around to go back, which drops me here. And if I want to go back, I have to turn around to go back this way. All right? Now, you always have to have a change level in both, even if you're not allowed to go back the other direction. You can put the change level in a part of the map the player can't reach, and you can disable it. But there always has to be a two-direction change level. So if I can go from 1 to 2, that means there has to be a connection from 2 back to 1. There has to be a trigger change level. Even if the player can't use it and it's disabled, you have to have it, okay? Super important, it's a very common mistake, but you have to have the change level in both levels. Now, to create the change level, you're simply going to take your block tool and you're going to make a box. And you're going to cover that box with our generic trigger material or texture, okay? So it's going to look something like this. Once you create that box, you're going to select it, you're going to right click on it and go tie to entity. When you select tie to entity, you're going to get a box that looks like this. It'll say Func Detail right here. You're going to drop this menu down and you're going to find trigger change level. You're going to click apply, and then we're going to look at the settings here. So the name, I went ahead and named this level 1, level 2 trigger. Remember, no spaces in the name. The new map name. This is the name of the map that you're going to. Landmark name. This is the name of the landmark, the little Washington Monument looking thing. Start disabled is no. Click apply. And that's it. This is a very simple entity to set up. Now, the new entity or brush that we're going to play with today is this little thin one right in front of it. And what this one is supposed to do, and like a lot of things, sometimes it's buggy, but most of the time it works. So what this is you're going to create a block in front of your change level, cover it with trigger. You're going to right click on it, tie to entity, and this is going to be a trigger transition. All you have to do to this is name it the same name as your landmark. Okay? So that means we're going to have 4 things that all have the same name. We're going to have 2 landmarks, 1 in each level, that have this name. We're also going to have a trigger transition in each level that also have the same name. So this is a rare instance where a bunch of things have the same name, other than like copies of spawn points. But these are like all different types of entities, but they all have the same name. So you have an info landmark called level 1, level 2. I have a trigger transition, which is called level 1, level 2. Now what this little box does is it only allows objects that are in this box to change levels. Okay? So it is supposed to prevent entities that aren't in the box from going to the next level. And like I said, I have had, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it works. But I've also had instances where for whatever, source engine God reason, the computer's angry with me and it doesn't work. And I've had to, move an entity to just get it out of the way here a little bit. But most of the time it works. The player has to be touching it in order to change level. So that's why I usually make it very thin and I put it right in front of my change level. So when the player comes around this corner, they're going to be in it when they touch the trigger change level. Okay? And then we're just going to do the same thing on level 2. So if I go to level 2, here's my other level. I'm going to take my block tool. Okay, so here's the change level. I'm going to take my block tool. I'm going to make a thin little box in front of it. Oops. Let's try that again. I'm going to make a thin little box in front of it, covered with trigger. I'm going to press enter. Take my selection tool, right click, tie to entity. It is going to be a trigger transition. So I'm going to go down here, trigger transition, click apply. Its name is going to be the same as my landmark. And I'm just going to choose it from this list here. That way I know that I'm not going to mess it up. Level 1, level 2, I click apply. It gets bold, which tells me there's another object with the same name. That's okay. And so it ends up looking something like this. Okay. Now, supposedly, if it works, and like I said, sometimes it acts funny and it doesn't do what it's supposed to, but it is supposed to prevent anything that's not touching this from going to the next level. So if you add some pipes or something right here, this should prevent those pipes or trash cans or anything like that from going with you into the next level. All right? Like all things on computers, your mileage may vary. It might, it might allow something through, but it's not supposed to. But like I said, I've had mixed results over the years with it. Most of the time it works, but occasionally it will give me some grief. Okay? All right, that's it. So make sure you must compile both maps. So what you're going to want to do is go File, Run Map. Don't run the game after compiling. And you're going to go ahead and compile it, which builds the map. Then you're going to want to also compile your first level, because remember, they have to be fully compiled. Just because you build it in here doesn't mean it's ready to play. This is still a map file. It's not the BSP file, which is what actually runs in the game. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to run this or compile this, and this will take a second here. And then once you're done with the compiling, hang on one second. All right, sorry about that, I had a visitor. All right, so here we go. I'm all compiled on level 2. So I'm going to come over here. So now I'm going to go back to level 1. So level 2 is compiled, but I did not run the game. Now I'm going to go back to level 1. Okay, this is level 1. I'm going to File, Run Map. I'm going to uncheck this, and then I'm going to go ahead and compile this one. Now don't forget, you need a trigger change level, trigger transition on both maps. They're configured exactly the same. When you make your trigger change level, start disabled, no. The name, name it whatever you want. The new map name is the map that you're going to. So if we look at my other map, okay, so here is level 2. Here's the change level. Notice new map name, it's going back to the first level. And if we look at the one on this one, it's going to the second level. Okay, super important. Make sure they point at the right map. Make sure the landmark name is correct. Okay? All right, that should be it. Your assignment will be to wrap this up and get me a video of this working. If you don't have a video of it, then you're going to have to send me a screenshot of the properties for every single entity of that we've done, the change levels, the transitions, the landmarks, all that stuff.